Hi, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again. Yesterday we had a very interesting webinar on steel structure, a resilient steel structure or steel structure with a coating, fire resistant coating on it, and also HVAC duct we did yesterday. We had some 210 people attending that webinar, and this is a second webinar. Overall, I think we have hosted 11 webinar from January till now. Yeah. So it's a continuous process to bring a lot of knowledge to the construction professional, project managers, architect, consultants, electrical engineers and all that. So today we have a very important topic. We are talking about the missing link in building. Today, 7th March at 11 a.m. we are beginning this new subject, the missing link in building. We have fantastic speakers, and why this topic has popped up, we have seen that we heavily invest in fire safety system, electrical infrastructure, HVAC, water management, energy monitoring, access control. This all now become a part and parcel of the building. So each of these systems designed with sophisticated, a lot of the software get involved in while you install and program this system. But yet, in spite of all this technology, most of the buildings still operate in silos. When I say silos, the fire alarm or the firefighting is not at all integrated, and access control is not integrated. So, though we say it is integrated through BMS, but that's not, I call it a smart building. How does I'm sure CCTV is never integrated with any of this. So, fire system does not communicate. It has so much of value in when you design a fire alarm system. It should also tell you how do we evacuate it from which direction I have to evacuate in a building. If you really design it well and integrate it well, I know which floor and where is the refuge area, in which direction I need to walk in, and if there is an obstruction in the way to evacuate or an exit sign, a camera should always create an alert that there is an obstruction in the exit route. So there's so much of integration that we can do. And also if you see HVAC system, it always independently operate. And that need to be integrated with fire system. So today, buildings should not simply be structure that houses technology. They must become a living digital ecosystem capable of sensing, learning, predicting, maintaining, and responsive. So, according to me, being almost 36 years in this industry, according to me, fire system must communicate with ventilation system automatically and direct the path of evacuation, and all electromechanical lock that we have, so-called access control, should open automatically. And our cameras that is now used for the post-mortem purpose only. Most of the cameras are used to investigate. It has to become live. It has to detect the fire or the smoke. Today the technology AI has become so powerful, the camera can respond much faster than the smoke detector. So it is possible that to certain extent, 80%, the images that we do, it can analyze and tell, yes, there are smoke is being spread, and which way the smoke is being spread can be, the camera can detect and respond and direct the evacuation. So HVAC performance based on occupancy. You don't want your HVAC to run everywhere. Depending on our occupancy, HVAC should perform, and also it monitor air and water quality. So today we are talking about how do we get all this into one single platform? Whether is it possible to integrate in very simple way, not the way we're talking about IBMS, very complex one we are talking about today with IoTs and AI. It has become so simple. You don't need so much of complex software wiring the whole building. You don't need that. Today we are focus is bringing this interesting topic, missing link in building, forum of construction utility service, a society for every construction professional. And I have Jatin with me, who is the president of Focus. And I'm just running through what is Focus. It's a platform is set to work together as a single unit to ensure that building perform optimally, efficiently, safely within the given tolerance, wherein performance of all the services is the key, and individual life cycle for each component must be in tune with the life of the building and premises. And we have visions very clearly. We have a website. If you look at our website, it has given all the utility service, which are the utility services. If you are a MEP consultant, if you are a PMC, you have a role to play in Focus. Focus is a great platform. I really love this because we started in 2020, and last week we had a Construction 5.0 conference in Delhi, well attended. Jatin was there in Delhi. So we are doing this conference pan India. So it's very important for all the professionals in the utility area become a member of Focus and begin this journey to change the landscape of our construction that we see today. So this is about Focus. I will not take much time because we have a very specific. I would like to introduce our speaker today. Architect Jatin Shah. He is the CEO of Colliers, and is also very well known across the country for his work that he has done. Over 22 years of experience, and he's been traveling length and breadth of the country, and he takes care of over some 3,000 projects across India. So he's been working with Colliers since over 2 decades and established himself as a trusted leader known for strategic foresight and technical excellence. His expertise span multiple asset classes, enabling him to deliver valuable insight on design optimization, sustainability, cost efficiency, and quality, and constantly strengthening the stakeholders' relationship by driving successful outcomes. So we have Srini, a technology man, very interesting. He's also quite familiar in our platform in webinar. Keep coming with different topic. So he's been in the real estate business in Hyderabad. He works with most of the developer in Hyderabad, and he's a serial entrepreneur. He has founded and advised multiple startup companies driven by passion for innovation, product, and solution. So he's a co-founder of CRO and Duranking, a leader in video surveillance and analytic as a service. He has shaped product design and market strategy. Today, Durang is the most well-known company when it comes to security, managing security through generative AI. We are doing conferences now. Next one is on April 10th in Mumbai. We are doing in partners with ASIS. With me, we have another gentleman, Denzil. He spent good amount of years with Siemens. He worked with IBMS field for a long time. Today he's a technical director at Smarter Spider. So he's worked in IT industry, and today he's working on cloud solutions on these smart buildings. So with this, I would like to close it, and I would like to welcome Jatin to say a few words. What do you think about this construction industry, Jatin? And where are we heading? Do you really think that we need to have one common platform for all the professionals? And also, how do you think building need to be performed? Over to you, Jatin.
Thanks, Dominic. I think, first of all, thanks for inviting me to be part of this webinar. The kind of webinar sessions which you have been hosting on behalf of Focus and other bodies are well recognized in the industry. Construction today, largely, and that's not related only to real estate, it's also related to infrastructure, is in a situation where we have moved from a siloed approach to a very collaborative approach across all service lines. And when I say service lines, it is not just one particular industry we're talking about. It encompasses all the other services. So a huge amount of collaboration happens now, not only at the design stage, but during contract stage and also during construction stage as we go on. The buildings have become very complex. The scale of the buildings have become quite large. The heights of the building have become very large. I hope I'm able to hear because I just saw a message that my voice is in echo.
No, no, you're
No,
very clear.
Yeah.
very clear,
Absolutely.
Jatin.
Okay. So I would suggest I would recommend that bodies integrate together, they work together, they take the things together, and they collaborate in a manner where the losses, uh, anything which you try to redo in a construction is easy to redo. It's easy to correct the things, but the amount of losses which happens in terms of time, in terms of cost, sometimes there are intangible losses, the rental losses which the developers go through is humongous. All this can be avoided if every service line is integrating together. So coming back to the point, there is a need of a body which works together. That's how Focus was conceived as a brainchild by the founding partners, and they wanted to integrate. We are not competing with any of the bodies. Every body is important in the country today because of kind of knowledge sharing which happens from the bodies which work independently without taking names. They are creating and they are raising the bars of the built environment professionals. I would not just say architects or civil engineers, even mechanical and electrical engineers or any other engineering E&V engineers who are there. So the by the virtue of all of us being part of this multiple bodies, the skilling is happening, the upskilling is happening, and that's how you're getting good professionals who are contributing to the market today. But Focus wanted to bring this all these professionals together, work on not siloed approach. We are not competing with any of the body. We want, in fact, want to work with all the bodies, uh, work together, and again start raising the bars. Come out with some very beautiful ideas around. The Focus has also been part of a national building code. A lot of members from Focus have been part of the new national building code, which is being written. So uh, today there is a need, there is a requirement, there is a want of having good professionals, good trained persons, and working together. In your starting message, you brought out a very beautiful point that firefighting approach, you still desired that it's integrated. Why we are talking today of being desired, I think this is the need of the hour. The kind of losses which happens because the lives and the money and the amount of issues which keep up coming up with a single fire is humongous. Why are the different verticals not integrated with a simple fire detection system or fire protection system? That's a mute point which all of us should understand and try to act on it. Back to you, Dominic, without taking much time. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Jatin, for that opening remarks. Um, you know, where do you think that the professionals of in the construction utility service construction field play an important role in Focus? You think that Focus can come out with its own compliance documents? How is it going to help the individual professionals, Jatin?
I think couple of points and very valid points. One is the endeavor of Focus, like any other chapters and any other bodies, are to start an integrated, upskilling platform where we are able to train people, where we are able to impart knowledge. Finally, we also should look at together bringing out certain guidelines which are good practices. I wouldn't say that as codes because we are not a statutory body from that perspective, but good practices which should be adopted and which we must bring back to our country, working along with suppliers, working along with the manufacturers, because they are the persons who hold the knowledge. The kind of knowledge which a manufacturer holds or a supplier holds is humongous. Why is it not percolating down? Because there's a rat race of getting the minimum rates and getting the minimum vendor at and in our contracting condition. But are we doing justice to those specifications? Are they being compared apple to apple? So if individually we can bring out the best practices, but when we align it together, a simple thing like a fire door, a supplier of a fire door can come up with his own, various test measures, etc., etc. But is he integrating it with the ironmongery? Is that civil structure which is being casted, is it integrated with a simple fire door? Is the swing of the door, which an architect knows about it, is being integrated? Is the fire door exit integrated with the fire detection panel? Is a fire safe passage which has been so those whole uh, virtue. It's not just we're looking at one piece. We are trying to put all the pieces together for that particular element and come up with best practices around it. It will help to again protect lives, take the industry to the next level, and that is what our intent should be over the next couple of years, so that uh, we become together. Uh, uh, the whole intent is to work together. So that's where we are. Yeah,
So,
Dominic.
Nitin, as a president of Focus, how important that a society like Focus should work with organization like CREDAI, Naretco, IGBC. So you feel that it's important that we all integrate as a
Yeah.
construction body and rating body and all that.
Yeah. Over the last couple of years, we have signed MOUs with CTBUH, we have signed MOUs with NFEs, we have signed MOUs with various other bodies. We have been recognized by IGBC. So I think it is important that all of us work together. I think everyone's end goal is simple. They all are here to make this nation, this country, and bring out best construction practices and bring out the rating systems. The moment we start integrating together, moment we start collaborating together, and not competing with together, it's more of collaborating. I think we will, for the entire country, work out a common goal, a common rating system. It can be on resiliency, it can be on agility, it can be on data, it can be on even on a simple rule like for people, for handicapped people. What are the
Yeah,
rating factors for a building to be rated on how a person with handicap can move around? So and we can, and it's industry practice, right? And
yeah.
and that's how we should do that. So that's where we are. So I mean, it's important to collaborate with everyone, and together we should bring out something. Dominic.
That's a great insight, and I'm sure as a president, you will bring definitely a change in the kind of the way our construction is happening, the way individuals are performing. I'm sure it is going to be a great platform, and I'm also vice president of Focus, so I also have a certain role to play. Like
You
the
have a
way
larger
how
role
I'm
to play.
integrating yeah, how I'm integrating Srini, who's a technocrat, and you being a PMCs and architect. So it's my role, continue to play to bring all like-minded people together. But yes, it's my responsibility also to bring a lot of collaboration with Focus, and it's a unique body, I would say. First time globally. I don't think there is a body like Focus anywhere in the other country. So we need this is not just an Indian society; it's a global society. So coming back to today's topic, Srini, you're a a technology man, and you've been uh, doing a lot of presentation. How do you all the critical services can come together, including the camera? Today, I keep saying that today camera is not just a data collection, image recording. It has so much to do, and your camera can be work with hand in hand with so many other services, give information to that, gain information, stitch all the information together. I think that today cameras that is there in building, like the one which you did in Isha Foundation for that
Right.
Mahashivratri. You did a wonderful job there in controlling the crowd, managing the crowd, directing them where to assemble. You did a great job in Isha Foundation. I read an article about the work you have done for Isha Foundation, Tirupati, and for Dasra. Very interesting. Let's understand. For now, this is more related to building.
To
So
building.
over to you. You take this forum forward. So we are quite keen to listen what is the missing link in the building. Over to you, Srini.
Thanks, Dominic. Morning, Jatin. It's a very good insight to start with. Hi, Denzel. Say, Dominic, I don't want to, put in a different way, but I'm also part of Focus. You didn't mention that. I'm a member of Focus, so I'm proud member of Focus. Just, the point is, always we're talking about, making the building smarter, but not intelligent. So always the smartness has to come forward in terms of fusioning with all these technologies and make it is intelligent, so that the next step would be the decision support. So the main important aspect behind all these systems that are there put together is to give some kind of a decision data point. But all these data points, are they combinedly together to convert them into an intelligent decision support system is what is the missing link, what I feel. Jatin, you can jump in between, but my look at all these various systems that are getting implemented in an active building, like Dominic, what you said is it's a very live environment. The building, you have so many people walking in, so many systems running. You have HVAC, you have generators, you have cameras, and many other integrated systems that are there. But none of them are feeding each other. Today I'm talking to you and you are talking to me, and we're trying to come up with some kind of a decision, right? If some problem is there. But if you are isolated and I'm isolated, and these solo installations are silo installations of entry barriers, generator management, cameras, all these are implemented with a cost. There is money involved in it. And if that money is put in a good perspective in terms of proper investment, they need to collaborate. Like what Jatin has said, they need to collaborate in terms of giving a data point that actually drives us towards some kind of a decision. You have group of people in one area, that is actually captured by camera, and that camera is saying that there's 25 in this corner of the place where there is a coffee cabana or somewhere, and then that is fed into your HVAC system. Your AC temperatures are readjusted, the temperature is readjusted. So all these things, and also in a forward looking scenario, if that 20-25 people are there, if in case there is a scenario of a fire that could happen, so what is the nearest exit that's available for these 25 people to move out of that building? Is that prediction done based on the camera input, based on the temperature changes, and based on the prediction if there is a possibility? I'm not saying that that prediction is basically a confirmed data point, but if it is a prediction in terms of if possibility is there, then where is the nearest exit door that can be driven to these 25 people to move out? So all these things has to come as one single solution, and all these need to be fed into a unified solution. That unified solution is the one which is decision. We talk a lot about generative AI. We talk a lot about agentic AI. If all these data points are not brought together as a single solution, how can any generative AI depend on these data points if these are all spread out and not integrated? Back to you, Dominic.
Denzel sir, would you like to add any more points with this?
Hi, Jatin.
So I think a very valid point on data collection and data point. Data today is going to be data in future is going to be the most important aspect, because every building behaves very differently, and that data capturing will continuously help us to move and analyze and predict, and probably before everything goes down to even correct things in future, right? I mean,
Mhm.
this is only a wish list, but that's where I think every manufacturer or every OEM supplier or every maintenance team is going to work towards. So data, right, what Srini mentioned is an important aspect, and we should make all our attempts to capture this data, analyze the data, and help overall from a maintenance perspective. So very valid point, Srini. Thank you.
Just want to add one more thing to what Jatin said. This is where we have focus come into the active role, wherein we need to bring in all these solutions together. We need to have a brainstorming. We need to have kind of like a, think tank that can actually build in a kind of a overlaying solution, which can actually help and create a lot of these integrations in between. There was some kind of initiatives that happen in the West, where like in our industry, in the surveillance industry, I can put it, because there are very different cameras manufacturers are there, very different protocols are there. So once they have thought like, why don't we bring up together as a standardization process when make everybody sit together and talk? Today, India is one of the largest market in the world. I don't see any competition between any vendor, any OEM. That's my perspective, because the market is so huge, everybody got a pie. So if we all sit together in forum, in focus as a forum, and then decide like what are all these things that need to be brought together, and what are the layers that we can create in terms of integration softwares that actually can drive the decision process in a very intelligent way, not in a smart way, but in an intelligent way. That's what I think we need to drive ourselves towards.
Srini, you
Yeah.
had a presentation you showed me, a
Uh,
very interesting one that
no,
we
I just
collaborate.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Can you
I
go ahead
just
and do?
sure, Dominic. I'll just show a couple of slides.
Yeah.
I don't want to overload everyone. See, because buildings have a lot of smart devices, right? So, and there is a lot of noise because all these buildings, there are so many smart systems that are sitting there, and that automation happens, and then there is only a few of them get integrated. So, intelligence emerges only these separate systems start talking to each other and generating a true decision support. This is one of the things. This is what I want to highlight. These are all the areas that we have. This is kind of like an isolation. You have BMS, you have CCTV doesn't get integrated into other systems. Fire system is there. It's again isolation. And then access control. All these, including the air quality and the lifts and escalators, if they come up into one single kind of a, understandable platform, I'm just skipping everything and then go here. See, this is what we envision. Where Jatin, I think we need to keep up a small working group where we can actually build something like this in terms of at least conceptually, and then somebody can develop it. You see, even I'm not capable of developing everything here, so it's all has to be a group. So if you see this bottom up, you have a lot of smart devices are there. You have sensors are there, cameras, meters, IoT devices, everything is there at a lower level. And you have BMS, fire systems, CCTV, access control, and energy at the secondary level. And you have an integration layer where the data connectors and APIs and IoT gateways, those bring in all these silo data into their own systems. And above that is what we have today at what we're discussing. AI analysis and AI predictive analytics and automatic monitoring and predictive monitoring is happening. But with all these things, there has to be a system that is sitting on top of it, which actually collaborates this and then gives a decision dashboards, which interlay between these different systems. That's the conceptual, imagination in terms of what we need to head towards. So if you see the left side, you have a old way of reactive. So the smoke detector gives the detection and the triggers alarm. But it has to become a convergence where all the other subsystems or other above systems, they also have to work together. And then this prediction, to next level, right? So if the temperature is rising, instead of waiting for the smoke, your temperature is rising, your electrical overload is happening, and smoke particles are increasing, and there is a human presence. So all these are the factors, are the data points, which is actually early risk prediction, right? Before the real trigger of alarm happens, actually the backend system is actually analyzing the entire thing. So having said that, that's what I wanted to
This is
show.
amazing, Srini. I mean, and I think just a question to you, Srini, and of course to Denzel also. Do you find that between various suppliers and various manufacturers of your domain, the standardization levels are not similar, the outcomes are not similar, and most of the times, in the mad rush of cost, on a inverted
That's
commas,
the best point.
you start getting compared with possible not a similar solution, right? So if you do you feel that at industry level there is a missing link of standardization on specifications, standardized? Of course, you can bracket it into three codes or four levels of standardization or multiple levels of standardization. But at least at one level, if you're comparing with X, the standardization is being compared like that, and then B level and then C level, something like that. Do you think that is where the missing link is, and because of that, we need to have an integrated approach so that all of us sit together and kind of work on this protocols from that perspective? Over to both
There's
you,
a
Yeah,
gentlemen.
th- there's
exactly. I just
yeah,
wanted to
it's
add a point over here.
go ahead,
As
Ranjan.
yeah, as Jatin said, yes, we have the data. Everything, all the data are available from individual systems, be it BMS, fire, HVAC, energy, or electrical, whatever it is. But are we using this data to convert it to an intelligence? Do the data have intelligence onto it to visualize it, to analyze it, to raise alerts wherever required, to calculate the energy and save cost on it? And you reduce the water consumptions patterns. So all these parameters have to be correlated on the fifth layer, where there should be a decision layer on all these systems, subsystems which are under there, where analytics is built onto it and a decision is taken so that all these gains are given to the customers. Be it fire
Perfect.
protection, which saves life and property, or cost savings with respect to HVAC or energy, whatever it is.
I think perfectly said, Denzel. But going back to Jatin's question about within the layer of our own industry, vendors and competitors and OEMs, along with the other systems, right? I think, Jatin, if I understand that correctly, the standardization within our own segment of vertical of solutions and the other solutions that are there. So you have two different levels of the standardizations that needs to come. If I take my example of our surveillance or IoT, we have a different kind of quality perspective in terms of how we implement our solution. Some implementations are very low level, basically defined and driven by the customer sometimes, or the most of the times, because they want at a lower budget where even standardization is not what they want, but they want this the coverage, right? So that's one thing which we need to prevent in terms of large buildings. I mean, there's a difference in terms of large buildings versus medium buildings and all those things, but at most of the time, the decision of the solution design has to be professional. It should not be defined, or rather decided by the some people at the customer level, where they don't have the technical knowledge in terms of understanding the surveillance. So I'm just talking about surveillance. So ad hoc implementations of few cameras in few locations, walking in the blueprint or walking in the corridors and say this is where the coverage is not there, you put this coverage. That's not how it should be, right? The way it should be is predefined, pre-designed, and the coverage has to have a field of view of each camera, has to have a proper field of view where it actually defines and designs and also captures the people who are standing there. And then any event of situational awareness, if you want to overlay a generative AI on top of it, if you don't have that, good field of view, how do the system analyze it? It cannot understand the situation if the coverage is not clear. And who is going to define that part of coverage is what the standardization need to happen. That's where the focus has to come forward and then say, look, the buildings are there, this is the kind of designs we are building, and this is the kind of black spots we have in each building. These are the kind of pathways that are there for the fire exits. And, what is the standardized way of designing this? You cannot put 40-meter or 30-meter, outside area just with one PTZ camera, which is actually rotating continuously around. And every time it is moving around, there is a black spot. And you don't get to analyze anything, right? That's why most of the time we go and say, okay, it's an open area outside where people are sitting or coming into the building. You put 4 cameras to the 4 sides. Don't put the PTZ camera, because PTZ camera is always having a 3-side black spot and only one side of the view. So these are the standardizations.
Srini, we have Denzel here who spent a good amount of years in designing IBMS and all that. Now, as the technology is, changing day by day, Denzel, I have a question to you. What is the traditional IBMS and what we're talking about integrating the all services on one platform, make it, everything available on a simple dashboard. You don't need to have a control room, dedicated IBMS control room, and you need a qualified IBMS operator. You don't need all this. What I understand, you don't need all this. If Jatin is sitting here and he has a very huge, workforce in Colliers, if he wants to see the energy that consumed in a day, or how many people are working in workstations, and how many in and how many out, and at what temperature the ambience, I would say, and what is the oxygen level, which productivity. If Jatin is sitting in his home, can he get all this information in one dashboard when compared to IBMS, where you need to have a particular defined system to operate all this? What is the difference between what you call integrated solution versus IBMS?
Yeah, exactly, Dominic. That is the missing link, actually, what we can discuss about. Currently, we have systems operating in silos. As you rightly said, the BMS system will have a control room and a dedicated PC where all the informations about the AHU, chillers, performance, everything comes to on the computer center at the where the guy has to 24/7 see it and operate and control it. But if there is a shift and there is a miss of alarms during the night time, is there somebody who can attend it at the earliest? So there is an intelligence which is missing right now, because we depend on the security personnel or the BMS operator to view the alarms and the checkpoints 24/7 and act to it. But if for certain critical institutions like pharma, if there is a drift in a temperature or a humidity for less than 1 minute or 2 minutes, there will be a huge loss. There will be a huge batch loss of medicines. So the loss would be incurred will be because of this 2 minutes, the data was not visualized. So what we need on top of it is we need to have an intelligence built onto it, so that the BMS systems alarms are raised. Actually, we have the IoT systems now where they raise the alarms, they escalate the alarms, and then people are ensuring that the system is rectified within the predefined time. So those things are there. But on top of it, we also have to have a coordinated approach on all the integrated systems, be it BMS or fire or energy or electrical. So all these parameters have to be on one umbrella where intelligence has to be built uh, between the systems, understanding between the systems, and taking a decision.
Now, like Kali, this, Jatin, he is building up a lot of, he's managing a lot of data center. Okay. So they're advising and all. When it comes to data center, so critical, you can't even downtime, you can't even expect even 30-second downtime in data center. Does, this in the smart building, the smart solution, when you compare IBMS there versus now what we are talking about integrated solutions or smarter spider that you're talking, what difference does it make when compared to data center?
See, for a data center environment, as you said, it is a very costly environment. Now we are having new data centers coming up in India for the artificial intelligence. There are many data centers which are planned to be installed in India. And these data centers are going to be very critical because when you take a data center, right now you're coming up with the containerized data center also, where all the systems are there, and you have to have a fabricated version of your AHU units, your racks all are to be monitored. The IT racks power consumption has to be monitored. The cooling system on the IT racks has to be monitored, because if there is a heat in a rack environment, there is going to be a huge loss, because one server fails, the data is going to affect the complete world if it is a critical data center. So all these parameters of the data center are to be monitored 24/7, and we have to ensure that it is fault free and trouble free, operating on a 24/7 basis.
Is it simple to operate versus IBMS? You need again still you need a highly technical guy to monitor the IBMS information and give it to the facility managers. But is this you're saying that you can scalable? Today I don't need everything in IBMS. I need to invest in everything. The server, the IOs, and all that. So now it is becoming so simpler and simpler. And can these all scalable? Like today, I just need to monitor the temperature in the data center, or I want to know the humidity in the operation theater, or other utility critical. So is it a scalable today? How the technology has moved? Is it scalable?
Yeah, when you consider the IoT platforms which are available now, all these IoT platforms are scalable, where you add a system or modular systems and build the systems as you grow. For example, in an IoT system, will have a fire protection system where you will ensure that the sprinkler pressure and the hydrant pressure are maintained, and there is no water leakage, or the people are using the hydrant points for the gardening purpose. Those things are all monitored. If you take a DG, then you are monitoring the fuel thefts over there. You are ensuring that the amount of fuel you are putting last month, you are comparing with the graphical charts on a DG point of view. If you go to UPS, you are ensuring that all the battery cells are monitored, and they are having the the maintaining the voltage, and it is kept live, so that you are increasing the asset life of each and every systems when you monitor it 24/7 on an IoT basis, on an IoT cloud monitoring solution.
Yeah, then
Just want to add one point.
Srini, I have one question to you. There's something with memory getting old, so I'll skip this question which
Okay.
I want to ask you now. In facility in a built environment, this we have exit doors in every floor. You have a common door which we use for utility, but you have one exit door. Most of the time, these exit doors is either stacked with a lot of material there. They know that nobody is going to access this. Okay, and housekeeping guys, they have a trolley and stuff. They go and park this next to the emergency door, exit door or emergency door. Can your cameras, that software that you have developed, as a facility manager, if someone is blocking the path, somebody is misusing the emergency door. Can I integrate that with kind of some kind of alert or maintenance that somebody is misusing? Is that possible through camera?
Absolutely possible, Dominic. In the built environment, there are a lot of these things that are basic violations, what we see. But when they get into the emergency scenarios, they are the major life-threatening situations that can actually caused by these simple things that are done by people unknowingly. I don't want to question their intention, but the simplest of the simple thing example you said is about the trolleys kept at the exit doors. That's not a bad intention on their part, but unfortunately that can actually transpire into clogging up of the door where people rush towards that when the fire incident happens and the door cannot be opened, and that place becomes a pile of loss of human life. So that's definitely possible with the solution, wherein the cameras are now giving the feed to our generative AI, and our platform is well analyzes it and also gives the feedback to whoever is required in terms of solving this problem, who is responsible for this thing to be cleared, and that particular person will get the notification. So it is a very targeted, information collection and also giving back to those who needs to respond on top of it. So that's the
How
whole
can you
cycle.
improve? How can you improve the performance of the building as whole through cameras that is there?
I,
Can
I'll
you
go a
improve
little.
the performance?
Absolutely. I'll go a little step above because we talked about the missing link and we talked about what need to be built and how we need to fusion all these solutions. At certain level, we already had done this with Smarter Spider, both VMS and analytics, video analytics. Merged and fusioned with IoT sensors that are giving data points, which are actually analyzed with the AI. These two systems are combined with API calls, so the data flow back and forth happens. So at certain level, we already did the experimentation. I just want to, give this information. Jatin, we have done this at an experimental level, and now at a production level, we are going, merging these two different systems, which are like completely IoT sensors that have an analysis built on top of them, and cameras giving the feed and analysis done on top of them. At a higher level, we already did the collaboration between these two systems, which actually gives a lot of flexibility in maintaining your buildings. The simplest example is one of the pharma company. Maybe it's away from this building example, but they had water sensors in their clean room. And there is a water leak that happened, and there is a water sensor of IoT. What it does, it has actually given a information data point that there is water. That's all it does, and that is analyzed by the solution at the Smarter Spider level, and that information goes into video analysis, and those cameras associated to that are activated, and that information is actually flown into the handheld devices to everyone who is involved, and two of the different systems are collaborating in terms of analyzing a simple water leak or flooding in a clean room, right? So if that is what is possible, everything else in this massive buildings is possible in terms of integrating as a technology, not just from the video analysis, not just from the IoT analysis, but multiple other things that can be brought into this at a higher level.
So you're saying the nuisance alarms and nuisance informations can be eliminated?
Yeah. There is a lot of nice factors. When I've shown you one of the, slide, I mean, I rushed it through because I don't want to take too much time. But there is a lot of noise that generates out of these systems, right? That is where the generative AI sits on top of it and eliminates, and false alarms are removed, and a targeted way of reaching out to those who actually need to respond, react, and solve the problems can be targeted in terms of sending. If not, what will happen? I'm sending my video analytics to somebody, and IoT sensors are sending analysis and then completion and then HVAC, temperatures and other things to somebody else. How can those two can be combined together to create some kind of a decision, right? That's where we are coming to. That missing link of not integrating these disparate systems to one single platform is what is the biggest missing link.
Actually,
I just wanted to add one point,
no,
Dominic,
one
on
minute,
the false
Jatin,
alarm.
we do a lot of conferences, webinar with NFE, and NFE is Gopkumar. He tells you don't need earthquake in a building. Everybody is shocked. What are you talking? In a hospital, in our airport, Bangalore airport, the Terminal 2 got 1,200 earthquake, Jatin. 1,200 earthquake. And the way he explained, the space that is wasted, precious space that is wasted, whether it is in hospital. Now, even in hospital, that MRI guy say, I need a dedicated, otherwise your warranty will not be given. So hospital, they're spending 3 crore for the MRI, earthquake, couple of lakhs, no problem, you build. X-ray guy will come, I need. So when you look around the earth, this is called earth farming. It's very interesting when you see. Actually, at the time of construction, and again because PMC, at the time of and on the design stage, if you work well, then I believe in what Gopak was saying. You don't need earthquake. No, you don't need earthquake if you are planning and at the foundation stage, if you can plan it well, you don't need earthquake. Every bus bar there, you connect all the utility to that bus bar, then you don't need. So he explains scientifically what international standard, IEC talks about it, National Electrical talks about it, never says you need earthquakes. So it's an eye-opener for many of even the MEP guys or the architect. What are you talking? You don't need earthquake. Yeah, you don't need earthquake. Similarly, what you're saying, at the construction stage or while designing the building, if you are designing it well, conceptualize everything, you save huge cost. Huge cost. Cabling of the whole building by IBM, so-called IBM, you reduce that 80% of the cable. So it's like when I say integration, it's not just a product integration or a solution. The entire, the wiring, the whole building, you save the cost, manpower, man hours, so much cost that even detection system in critical area, the camera can become so smart. It can detect the flame. It can differentiate what kind of smoke is it, white smoke, dark smokes. Everything can be detected. So I'm getting little over like a James Bond visualizing how the building is. But I'm saying that's how the building going to be. You have AA, you have a smartphone, everything is taken care. Your voice, you convert, somebody speaking Japanese, instantly I convert that into my language. And so predictive maintenance of the building with this smart AI, I'll get to know what is going to be a problem, future problem or maintenance problem. My chiller is having a problem. All that can be predicted and avoided. False alarms or downtime on servicing. All this can be avoided. So over to you. Sorry, Jatin, over to you. Maybe you want to comment something. But you are the man who really sit at the drawing board and you hold every vendor and talk. I think you are a better person. I am just a dreamer sitting here.
No, I think Denzel will also add to the point which I was trying to make. It is that this collaborative design solutions and today the entire design process is where you don't involve the manufacturer or you don't involve the contractor or you don't involve the uh, even the facility management team. So things are changing. You will shortly see a lot of people getting involved right at the design stage, and this is to write the right specification. This is to see to it that everything is in place. So that is slowly getting adopted in a lot of companies. I see at least a maintenance team coming in now to review the designs, and slowly they will also involve manufacturers, because then the whole industry will then upswing to the next level, where when the final drawings or designs are out or tenders are out, the benchmarking is already done, the drawings are in place. So that thing, I think Denzel can add further to this point. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
have
I just want to
audience
highlight one
waiting.
point
I think you
when
have some poll to do after Denzel's finish. You have asked me to do some polling to take the views of the participant. Denzel, after we finish, we'll do the polling and see
yeah, I'll
what
just take 2
our
minutes.
audience also thinks of.
Yeah, I'll just take 2 minutes. Actually, I wanted to highlight on the false alarms which Srinivas was telling. So maybe in 5 or 6 years back when the analytics of CCTV camera was found, we had lots of false alarm because the video has to understand what a shadow is. If there is a camera installed on the perimeter, whether the trees are moving, and that is creating as an object, because camera identifies pixels as an object and classifies the object and then takes an alarm. So after that, now when you have a camera on a seafront, the waves are captured, and this faults have to be removed and rectified. So as time was going on, all these parameters were learnt by the AI, and now we have come at a stage where we have exactly classified each and every object, whether it is a dog or a cat or a man, and then what they are doing, having the face detection covered, whether there is a thief over there, we can recognize the face recognition. So we are at the stage where we have moved out of 80% of the false alarms have been filtered, and now we are in the implementation stage of a very good platform without any false alarm. So that one point I have to highlight. And after that, as CD said, that having those solution in hand, we have to build on top of it. As you said, the crowd uh, uh, behavior analysis, what we did in the earlier project in Coimbatore. So that can be done. And when as you also said on the focus, now we have the teams of various critical utilities people. We also, Jadisha was mentioned that there is a fire door and the people do not know how to use the fire door, what is the swing movement available for that fire door. So we have to ensure that the users are also brought into the focus team, and so that we see the real implementation of what has been manufactured and what is being used. So focus has to have a knowledge share from the manager side, from the manufacturing side up to the user level is what my view is when we build a top layer on top of all these systems.
So, Srini, you want to run a poll?
Yes, go ahead.
Lakshmi, you want to let's see how the participants respond to your questions. Can I ask Lakshmi to do the polling? Lakshmi, are you there? Yeah. Here is a quick question you can answer. I'm requesting all the audience, just give little attention towards the screen that you're seeing here. Just click here. We have 61 audience here. Please click on to the poll that we are doing here. Okay, next one, next question. So you have few more seconds to. I'm requesting again, all the audience, just respond to this, where this information is very important for us to continue these kind of webinar discussion, panel discussion. We get your inputs will be very, very valuable for us. Each system works independently, yes. So does a building currently have centralized platform to monitor? So I'll count on 10 seconds more. Lakshmi, in 10 seconds, you can end poll and see the result. Requesting the participants to respond to the poll. Should also have a question. How many agree that everybody should become member of Focus, Jatin? Next time we can have a panel. Jatin, are you listening? Next time we have to have a panel discussion about focus, how important, what do you think the priority? We can do this kind
That's
of
right.
polling, and Omni believe that yes, membership will add value to. Well, I think we have to do this kind of polling that we are doing right away. I think next webinar should be bring top architect on the floor, on the panel, get good PMCs, good builder, and service provider. Have a nice open talk like this so that focus can understand what is the today's this year 2026 task can be. I think we
But
should
today,
do that
but
in brainstorm.
today, honestly, Dominic, I had a great takeaway from this webinar. Something which Rini and Denzel mentioned about it. We need to internally discuss this at management level and then possibly start that 5-layer integration or a 6-layer integration coming in and set up those
Yes.
advocacy chairs around it. I think that's the greatest takeaway, which I learned something new today. So thanks to you guys.
Then let's end the
So
poll,
should I end the
Lakshmi.
poll?
Yeah, end the poll, please. Do you get the result here after ending? Let's see. So you got each system works independently. 43% says it works. Only 12% says fully integrated. 19% not sure. 26% partially integrated. Interesting. So you can stop sharing, Lakshmi. Oh, hope you got the share result. Share result, Lakshmi. Okay. Thank you so much for doing this poll, Lakshmi. Yeah, you can close. You have which system? You have another question? Which system in your building is most critical but least monitored centrally? Oh, you have to go down. Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, I need to browse this. Okay. The second question is which system? So energy and electrical, 24%. Fire system, there 31%. HVAC, 10%. Security, 12%. Occupancy, crowd monitoring, you want 24%. What is the biggest challenge in making building intelligent? Technology integration is 33%. Budget constraint. Everybody thinks, when you say IBMS, think there is a pause on that. So budget constraint, they believe 31%. Lack of experience or expertise, lack of expertise, 31%. Legal data overload. What would predict alert before failure happens? Valuable for the building, extremely valuable. That is a good result you're getting. They're saying predict the failure is 74%. They agree. Yes, is extremely important to monitor. Then we have how much operational cost reduction do you expect from intelligence? So 45%, 10 to 20%. Nice learning, Srini. I think this kind of polling in our webinar helps us to even better understand the audience and the participants' expectation also. Denzel is good eye-opener for you. I think we should continually keep doing this kind of information. See, they are very interesting, is extremely valuable of predicting the failure. 71%, 74% are expecting. Okay, thank you, Lakshmi, for sharing that poll on the screen. You can close this. Okay, over to you, Srini. What did you understand from this polling?
No, I think, more or less everybody is in consensus, like, we need to have the integrations, we need to have the predictions. The budget constraints will be there. I don't want to deny that, but adaptability in terms of long-term possibilities of reducing long-term cost. Upfront capex may increase a little bit, but the benefits are in the long run, both in terms of cost perspective and also in terms of facilities, better facilities to the occupants, and also safety of the occupants. So I think the poll is very clearly mentioning all these things, very important to understand. So let's take it to the next level in terms of how we, work in focus to bring these things together and have some more, meaningful discussions. Whenever there is a forum meeting next time, let us try to bring in, different stakeholders and see, what are their thought process in terms of collaborating and kind of creating a fusion solutions.
Very true. Very true. I think the meetings are important to reconcile and take a next step, giant leap. Dom, there are some questions in the chat box. So, do you want to take them up, Dominic, in the interest of the time?
Yeah, Lakshmi, if you want to
I think, okay, let me, since
let us.
yeah, so this is for you, Denzel. In case of fire in high-rise residential building office, can we conclude that electric short circuit in the most cases, can it be implemented through IoT system? Can it be checked through an IoT system? It's
Yes,
from
exactly.
Subrata Kumar.
Exactly. Actually, in an IoT system, we have the sensors at the ground level and then at the gateway to send the sensor alarms. For the sensors, we in the electrical system, if you take, we have the sensors for the MFM meters. The energy meters are there, but to get this short circuit and other parameters, we have a different sensor which can be connected to the main line, and that input also can be taken into an IoT cloud so that you monitor the electrical faults at the incoming itself and send it to the cloud. And not only that, the cloud can also give your alarms and events to your hand over a phone. So whatever difference is there in the alarm parameters or the voltage drop or the current fluctuation is there. So those parameters you can set the limit over there and take the alarms directly onto your hand and immediately respond to it. So there is a feature to add the electrical faults also into the IoT monitoring cloud.
Perfect. I think the three next questions are actually together, both from Maria, Nishita, and Sumitra. They're all mentioning that can the old buildings be retrofitted to the latest infrastructure of IoT and platforms, how difficult it is, and what is a typical ROI in such cases, etc. So these are majorly larger because there's a huge development which is going to come up for retrofit now. If you look at all the older buildings, will come up for retrofits now in most of the major cities, and it's the square footages are running in billions. So over to you guys, please.
Yeah, basically, when you see the traditional systems, the systems which have been installed for the past decades, so many decades, there are conventional systems, there are different makes of the system, there are German makes, there are localized makes, and everything, a combination of these systems are there. So IoT can build an intelligence, be whatever makes are there. So if you have a Schneider or a Siemens system or a local system, you can see that those sensors send the alarm directly to a cloud, or you can integrate those available system software using an API. That is one method of doing it. The other method of doing it is taking the sensor inputs directly onto an IoT parallelly to an IoT cloud and giving you the intelligence, building the intelligence on top of it. So be it old or new system, yes, it is possible at any point of time. You can do it.
Wonderful. Srini, you want to add?
I think what Denzel has mentioned is a very pretty pertinent and valid point. We cannot expect everything to be replaced over the night. There is a way of doing in terms of end of life of these solutions or any devices that have been there already. So overlaying on top of it, like what he said, taking that data and sending it into the cloud and do the analysis, make it more proactive, and then make it more available in your handheld devices and also active notifications without having any lag. Temporarily, not temporarily, but as of now, instead of waiting and then replacing the whole thing, you can make it intelligent overnight. So you
Wonderful.
cannot replace overnight, but you can make it intelligent overnight. So that's the kind of transition probably we should take. And these are not very expensive in terms of doing that conversion or modernization on top of existing system. Denzel and I have done some basic work in terms of understanding this. It's very easy to implement as a secondary layer, and also it is not very expensive. So it can be converted quickly.
I think largely that also answers the fourth to the last question. So lovely. So course correction is possible.
Yes,
Dominic,
it is possible.
Dominic, over to you. Hello.
Yeah. Sir, with this, can we conclude this webinar, sir?
Yeah.
I think the
With
questions
this,
are done.
yeah. Thank you so much for everyone, and thanks for this. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Jatin.
joining us
Thanks,
today.
Denzel.
Bye-bye.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Thank you, everybody.